What's going on, guys? It's Vaxx. So a few months back, we made a video talking about rarity in modern Pokemon cards, and there was a lot of confusion. So the thing is, modern cards, and I'm talking Scarlet and Violet era 2023 forward, they completely changed the rarity symbols and how the rarity structure works. So that video actually does not apply to the previous 20 years of Pokemon cards. And looking back, it was definitely not the smartest idea to post a modern rarity guide before I posted a rarity guide for the previous 20 years. So today we're making a complete rarity guide all the way from base set Pokemon to modern Scarlet and Violet. So if you're trying to understand the rarity of any card you have in your collection, this video is for you. And make sure you stay until the end because I have some really important tips for anybody who's trying to understand the rarity of their cards, vintage or modern. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave me a comment below. Let's get it. So I've had questions from so many people, even veteran collectors that I know, who really don't have a full understanding of Pokemon rarity from generation to generation. And honestly, it took me forever to figure this out because it is really confusing. So before we jump in on the complete guide starting with base set, there's a few things I want to mention. So for one, rarity and value are not the same thing in Pokemon trading cards. So for example, take this Red Cheeks Pikachu from base set. The rarity symbol's common, but it's actually a very rare card selling for about $200 right now. That's actually because it's the Red Cheeks, it's a limited run. Another thing to remember is the rarity symbol doesn't actually fully determine the rarity. And we're gonna get into this a little more, but take this Charizard for example. The rarity symbol's a rare, but it's actually classified as a secret rare. And in this video, I'll show you how to tell. The last thing I want to mention before we jump in, the reason all of this is so confusing is because for the past 20 years, Pokemon has used the same symbols for rarity, but as publishers transitioned and the printing companies changed, they changed the meaning of the rarity symbols. So from generation to generation, the same symbol has a different meaning. So be sure to save this video as you're going through your collection so you can line up the era with the symbol on your card to fully understand what rarity it is. So let's back up to the very beginning of the Pokemon trading card game from base set to Gym Heroes. And that's the first 7 sets with 2 generations of Pokemon cards. So in the very beginning, there were 4 rarity symbols: common, uncommon, rare, and promo. In every single pack you open, you were guaranteed 5 commons, 3 uncommons, and 1 rare. Now, breaking this down a little further, there were actually 4 types of rares. So even though all of these cards had the same symbol, they differed in value based on the type of rare they were. So in that rare slot in every pack, you could open a regular rare, a reverse holo rare, or a holo foil rare, with the holo foil definitely being the most valuable one you can pull. So 3 different types, all with the same rare symbol. And this actually didn't change through the entire lifespan of Pokemon to this day. So if you're thinking about value of your Pokemon cards, there's one more thing I want to mention, and that's the first edition stamp on these cards. All of the Wizard of the Coast era prints had first edition runs as well. Those are much rarer and much more valuable. So all you need to do is look for the first edition symbol on the card, and that'll tell you if it's first edition. But first edition stamps are actually separate from rarity symbols. So promo cards are exactly what they sound. They're promotional cards that the Pokemon Company printed. You can't actually pull them in packs. They're separate from the set. Usually it's the same as a card in a set, just with a different artwork. It would be a promotional card to get you to buy a specific product in the Pokemon collection. And it's kind of contradictory, actually. Promos are very common. They're not super rare because there was no luck involved. You were guaranteed to get it based on the product you bought. So there are a ton of them in circulation. So just to recap, in the first 2 generations of prints, we had commons, uncommons, rares, and promos. So next we have the Neo Genesis series. And the Neo Genesis series added 2 new levels of rarity. The first being Shining Rares, which had 3 black stars. These are exactly what they sounded like. And this was the first time the Pokemon Company ever printed Pokemon in their shining form on the trading cards. And the second rarity that the Neo Genesis series introduced were secret rares. Now, secret rares are a little bit confusing. There's actually no rarity symbol to distinguish secret rares, but instead you have to look at the number the card is in the set. So right next to that rarity symbol, there's 2 numbers. The number the card is out of the total number of cards in the set. With secret rares, the card number exceeds the total number in the set. So a perfect example of this in the Neo series is the Shining Charizard card. So this is a 3-star Shining Rare, and the number exceeds the total number in the set. So this is a Shining Rare Secret Rare. And so now we have 6 different rarities, but 5 rarity symbols: common, uncommon, rare, Shining Rare, promos, and secret rare. Next, we jump to the Ruby and Sapphire era. And this was actually the first era that the trading cards actually followed the games being released, which is what they still do. So the Ruby and Sapphire era didn't actually make a real change, but there is a point of confusion here that I want to clear up because I get questions about it all the time. So the Ruby and Sapphire era introduced Silver Star rares, which confuses a lot of people. They're actually the exact same as Black Star rares. They just did this because the Silver Star goes better with some artworks and it looks better. So Black Star rares and Silver Star rares are actually the exact same thing. Something else they did in this era, they quietly removed Shining rares and replaced them with Gold Star rares. So Gold Star rares have a gold star after the Pokemon's name in the top and a gold star as the rarity symbol. So now we have common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare, promos, and secret rares. So for the next couple generations, there actually weren't any major changes. However, starting with Diamond and Pearl, ultra rares changed from a gold star to a silver star. So on our handy dandy list here, the only change in this era was the look of the star. And this stayed really consistent all the way through the XY era. But then the Sun and Moon era came around and they changed everything again. So the first thing that happened was they reintroduced the ultra rares with the silver star, but they kept the silver star on rares as well. So the only way to tell the difference between an ultra rare and a rare in this era was to actually look up the card. Ultra rares were considered frameless, meaning they were the first cards to ever pop out of the frame, where rares didn't do that. This era also introduced 3 new types of rarity. The first were prism rares. Prism rares were black star rares, but they had a unique prism symbol in the center of the card. You probably haven't seen very many of these because these did not last very long. The next being rainbow rares. Rainbow rares were essentially the same as secret rares, but they gave you a much easier way to identify them. Now, these actually don't have specific symbols either. They can be ultra rare or rare, but they're very easy to spot because the artwork on the card is 100% rainbow. You've definitely seen a few of these. And the third being gold rares, which is the exact same situation as rainbow rares. The card is fully gold, but the actual rarity symbol can be ultra rare or rare. So to this point, we have commons, uncommons, rares, ultra rares, prism rares, promos, and secret rares, which can come in rainbow or gold. So when the first set for Sword and Shield came around and started the Sword and Shield era in 2020, we had some big changes again. So the first thing they did in the Sword and Shield era was they removed prism rares, which was like the biggest change from the previous era. And they introduced 2 new types of rares, amazing rares and radiant rares. So amazing rares use a rainbow A for their rarity symbol, and radiant rares actually use the black star rare, but they're really easy to tell because they have a very unique holofoil pattern across the whole card. So to this point, we have commons, uncommons, rares, ultra rares, amazing rares, radiant rares, promos, and secret rares, which can still be a rainbow rare or a gold rare. You can see how this gets confusing. But the good news is now we're into modern, and modern overhauled all of this. It is so much clearer now in Scarlet and Violet, it gives me a headache to look back. So the Pokemon Company finally realized that this rarity problem was a total mess. And what they did is actually really great for beginners who jump in and correlate rarity with value. Now they're on the same playing field. One change they did make too is instead of having 3 different types of rares, non-holo, reverse holo, and holo, all rares are just holo. So Scarlet and Violet actually introduced 4 new types of rarity to help fix this problem they had. So what they did was they introduced double rare, illustration rare, special illustration rare, and hyper rare. So the only type of card now that doesn't have a specific rarity symbol are secret rares. So you still have to look at the number of the card out of the number set to see if it is a secret rare. But honestly, secret rares are way more common in this era. Each set has like 20 or 30 of them. So even though it still is a thing, it doesn't really matter as much for value because the rarity symbol directly tells you how rare the card is and what the value is going to be. So this is our complete list to date right now. And before I let you go, I just want to give you a couple really important tips. So first is when you're going through all these rarity cards, a big question you're going to have is what set is my Pokemon card from? Because that's how you're going to tell what the rarity means since it changed so much. And the easiest way to do this is if you just Google the name on the card and then also the card out of the total set number, that card's going to come up and it'll tell you the set it's from. So once you have the set, if you don't know where it fits into all of this, you can go to pokecollector.com, search the set, it'll give you what era it's from. I wish I could make this simpler for you. It's really confusing. I could have made a 30-minute video on all of this for you, but I wanted to keep it concise, consolidated, so you can get the information you need quickly. The second tip for anyone who hasn't been following the channel for a while, if really what you're looking to do is put a value on your collection, rarity symbols are a great way to start, but the best way to do it is to go to tcgplayer.com and search your card, or do the same thing on eBay, but don't look at what's for sale because that's the perception of the owner. Look at the recently solds on eBay. That's going to tell you exactly what that card's worth right now. There's also a few other tools that people use, pricing chart or collector apps. They work, they give you a ballpark for sure, but the best way to do it is using eBay or TCG Player. That's going to tell you what the card's worth right now. And everything's linked in the description below for all the tools I use when I'm going through my collection. Hey, listen guys, thanks for watching. I know rarity can be very confusing in Pokemon. If you have any questions about the rarity of your cards, drop them in the comments below. I'll answer every single person who comments. I'm really just trying to help you guys because I struggled with this for so long and it took me forever to put this guide together because it is so complex. So I really hope this helps you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave me a comment, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.